Back to the chair.
Senator Marshall.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To my panel, as I read your testimony, listen to your testimony, what you described to me is an academic response to a problem. As opposed to being proactive, we're being reactive. And I would challenge you all to change your culture so that we're more proactive and more of a military response to a problem like this. When I look back through the history of this virus, July 2021, there was a case in Texas from Nigeria. November 2021, a case in Maryland from Nigeria. In May of 2022, there's cases in multiple countries, all linked to Nigeria. And there was a moment in time before the horse was out of the barn that we could have stopped this. And now I fear that this virus is being transmitted from human to animal. And once it's in the animal kingdom, we'll never be able to get ahead of this. So my question for Secretary O'Connell is, did you ever consider a travel ban or requiring vaccinations from people that have traveled from Africa before they get back in this country? And then you made a statement on June the 3rd of 2022 that you said, I want to say we have enough on hand to manage this current outbreak. Do you still think that was the case then? And if so, why is it still exploding?
Thank you, Senator Marshall. I'd like to take the second one first and then invite Dr. Walensky, who has...
Well, we don't have that much time, but go ahead.
Okay. At the time that I made that statement, we were using the ring vaccination strategy, which is a strategy that has been effective in monkeypox outbreaks, including the ones that you just mentioned previously. It requires vaccine being administered to the person that has the virus and their close contacts. As the spread of the current outbreak began to indicate that anonymized partners would make it difficult for contact tracing to happen, we pivoted to those that were likely to be exposed, and we expanded.
So there was plenty of vaccines, and the problem was the execution, getting the vaccines to where they were needed?
The strategy that we were using to vaccinate the at-risk population changed as we were seeing the transmission change.
Okay, Dr. Walensky, just briefly, yes or no, did you all consider some type of a travel ban or requiring people to have a vaccine before they came to this country?
Maybe if I could just clarify, the two cases in 2021, one in Texas, one in Maryland, we were aware of. There were no contacts that ultimately had monkeypox. Those were isolated cases and unrelated.
But we traveled to Nigeria, from Nigeria.
Yes, and we have known that monkeypox is endemic in Nigeria as well as DRC, and intermittently over years, including 2 last year, we have intermittent travel cases that have led to no further cases. That happened in 2021. This is a different outbreak. This is May 17th was our first case. When we had our first case, I spoke to the clinician who made the diagnosis. We called Public Health Canada as that patient had traveled from Canada, and we immediately started outreach with our colleagues in the UK as well.
So I think it's a no, but there was multiple cases across Europe already, with most of them connected to Nigeria. I want to turn to fentanyl poisoning just a second, Dr. Walensky. Probably one or two people have died with monkeypox in the United States that I'm aware of, but every day hundreds of Americans die from fentanyl poisoning. Why have you not declared this a public health emergency? Why have you not asked the administration to shut down the border where 90% of this fentanyl comes from?
The declaration of a public health emergency is under the secretary, so I would have to defer that comment. I will say that...
But you could recommend to him that that would be done.
And we have those conversations. But what I will say is that our ability to shut down the border at the CDC level is related to communicable diseases. And while the fentanyl challenges...
Turning your back on the fentanyl poisoning.
Not at all.
More people have died from fentanyl poisoning. More Americans have died from fentanyl poisoning than we lost in Vietnam. This is what's killing Americans every day, is fentanyl. Do you not have a heart for these people, for these moms and dads that have lost these kids?
And in fact, through my career, I've cared for many of them. And it is tragic. And we are doing a lot at CDC.
What are we doing?
But we do not at CDC have the authority to shut down the border on anything except a communicable disease.
So what are we doing?
We're doing outreach. We're doing mental health. We're doing community violence. We're doing surveillance. We're doing
But tons of fentanyl continue across the border. Really quickly, in 2017, there had been no cases in Nigeria for 40 years. Suddenly there was an outbreak, I guess 218 cases. Since then, the CDC, EcoHealth, UC Davis, funded by USAID, were all doing research in Nigeria at the time. I think it's for Dr. Walensky as well as Dr. Fauci. Were you aware of this research? What was the purpose of the research? Was it just collecting, or were we doing more than collecting? Were we concerned about lab outbreaks? And I've got a list of questions related to that research. But Dr. Fauci, were you aware of that research in 2017?
No, I'm not, but I could get that information to you.
Yeah.
I'll have to check with the staff. I was not aware of it myself personally.
Dr. Williams, were you aware of this?
We've been conducting monkeypox research in Nigeria for years, and I'd be happy to get you the details.
You know what the purpose of that research is?
I'd be happy to get you the details.
No, as I mentioned in my remarks, we are will be imminently conducting a clinical trial of TPOXX, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. That's not fundamental basic research. That's a clinical trial in the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Okay, thank you. We look forward to your answers. I yield back.
Senator Hassan.